We look to the West to hear about one team's playoff intentions. Two ECHL players, one current, one former, have nights to remember. And another outdoor adventure is less than 8 months away. We have details. All that and more right now on ECHL Week.
Hi, welcome to ECHL Week. I'm Barry Schickling. Last week we spoke about the playoff races in the Eastern Conference in particular, talking to members of the Jacksonville Icemen. Today, we shift our focus to the Western Conference. As recently as a few weeks ago, the Tulsa Oilers were holding down the 4th spot. Then they had some problems and fell all the way to the bottom of the standings. But they've started coming back again, and now they think they're in pretty good shape to make a playoff run. You may recall the last time the playoffs were held in 2019, Tulsa made it to the last game of the Western Conference Final before being eliminated by Toledo. The captain then, and now, is Adam Pleskach, and his duty is to make sure that the team knows and understands what's involved in getting back to the playoffs.
It's that type of stuff at this time of year when you're in this race, you know. It's not the spot we want. I think probably 4 months ago it was like, guys, we need to get these points so that when there's 15 games left, we're not worrying about this. But whether you like it or not, we're in this spot.
The league is so tight. With regard to the top couple teams, the rest of our division is very close. It really could come down to like the final games, as far as who gets those final spots for playoffs. But as a team, we're just we're trying to approach every game with the mentality that we need to win it.
I mean, in any team, everyone knows the situation they're in, right? So everyone knows that we're in a battle here. We're in a spot that we got to win the majority of our games and got to hope for some fortunate bounces with the other teams as well, right? Because that's the way any playoff race works. But personally, I think it's fun. I mean, it's a little bit of playoffs before the playoffs happen, right? I mean, it is stressful and it's probably going to be a little taxing down the run, but I mean, that's hockey. That's the fun part about it is you get to compete with your teammates and your friends and try and accomplish something.
The Oilers know they have 3 teams to get past in order to qualify for the postseason.
The last 4 teams in our division, even though we're all relatively close, we match up very differently against each team. Kansas City, Utah, and Rapid City. Like we've had games where we've really taken it to them. We've matched up well against them, and we've had games where we've kind of struggled for whatever given reason. But the talent is so good in the league this year that it's no game is easy. That's for sure.
My opening weekends, we played Rapid City, and those were the last 2 games they had against Rapid this year. Fortunately, we dropped 4 points there, and then we played a 2-game set against Utah this weekend and collected 4 points there. So obviously they're both good teams. The last couple weekends we have 3 or 4 games against KC, so they're all important, and you got to find a way to collect points, whether that's getting 2 each night or even pushing games to overtime, because every point matters, especially for the win percentage.
There's no debating what the Oilers have to do to be able to get that final playoff spot. The question is, will they be able to do it?
Cross fingers if everything goes right, and when we do make playoffs, we've kind of been competing in that and in that mindset for the last month, right? So you might be able to catch a team off guard that's kind of been sitting at the top for the last little while, maybe steal a game or 2 and put them on their heels, right? So that'd be the ideal situation, and hopefully something like that can happen.
The guys are working hard every day, and the guys are dialed in. We got a good group of guys, a good group of glue guys, keeping the guys together and focused. So we have full intentions of a first round matchup with whoever it ends up in first. Obviously we're all fighting for the 4th spot. I don't think any of us are getting the 3rd spot, so we're all kind of just we talk about, how would this matchup be for this and that. So we're amped up for playoffs.
A couple of unusual stories in today's news from around the ECHL. The Utah Grizzlies and forward Travis Barron had a big night on Tuesday, a getting into the record book kind of night. Barron scored 4 goals, 3 of which were shorthanded, tying an ECHL record. Teammate Ty Lewis also scored while the Grizzlies were down a man, giving the team 4 shorties for the night. That also tied an all-time league mark. In a crucial battle for that final Western Conference berth, Utah took the game from Rapid City 5-3. Barron is under contract to the NHL's Colorado Avalanche. And speaking of the NHL, not many players make their Major League debut at the age of 28, but a longtime ECHL goaltender, Michael Hauser, has played his first 2 NHL games for the Buffalo Sabres and won them both. Hauser, who has more than 200 ECHL games under his belt, mostly with Cincinnati, made 34 saves in a 4-2 win over the New York Islanders in his NHL debut on Monday. The next night, he made 45 saves for a 4-3 shootout victory, also over the Isles. He's the first Buffalo goalie to win his first 2 starts for the team in over 20 years. Hauser's last pro game prior to the wins for the Sabres was for the Cyclones on March 7th of 2020 when he shut out Toledo 1-0. By the way, the backup goaltender to Hauser both nights early this week was Stefanos Lekas, who's played 11 games for the Fort Wayne Komets this season, including as recently as April 10th.
Preparations have begun for a big event scheduled for next season. Details next on ECHL Week.
Routines like staying active or talking to friends can help keep you centered. For more tips, visit coping-19.org.
One of the ECHL teams not in action this season is the Toledo Walleye, but that doesn't mean they're not busy. We recently spoke with General Manager Neil Newcomb, who talked about how difficult it was to make the decision not to ice a team this year.
We wrote it out as long as we could. I can't stress enough in terms of our peers around the ECHL that allowed us that time. We had a lot of optimism and hope that with the vaccines that we're going to be rolling out, that perhaps that was going to be a positive thing for us. And once we got to that first part of January, the reality of that happening just wasn't going to be the case. And we couldn't overcome the limitations that were put upon us, and that was no more than 300 people inside the arena.
Winterfest, the ECHL's second foray into outdoor play, is scheduled for December. It's going to be a very memorable event.
The plan is to have it back here in December, and there is a lot of heavy lifting that happens. Great staff and people that are here that work with the Walleye, and also on the Mud Hen side, because that event will happen here at the ballpark, and there's a lot of effort that gets put into it. But you know what? We had such success the first go around. About 60,000 people who came downtown to Toledo to the ballpark over a 10-day period. With that success, we're actually going to extend Winterfest a little bit longer and make it more of almost a 2-week period from December 17th to the 31st. So included there is the 2 Walleye games the day after Christmas, and then New Year's Eve, which will be a first for us. We've never hosted a New Year's Eve game before. So we're looking forward to that.
Of course, Winterfest isn't just about the walleye in the ECHL, it's a celebration of hockey. And it's likely that tens of thousands of fans will get an opportunity to take part.
It's just really, if you're a hockey fan, and it's just a great time. And even if you're not, I came across so many people that came out to Winterfest, even for like open skates that were available to the general public. They're out here at midnight going skating at the ballpark on an ice rink, and and for them, they just got off the second shift of work or whatever, and may have never been to the ballpark, may have never been exposed to the walleye before, but at the same time, it was cool for them to do something like that.
And when the puck drops this autumn in Toledo for the first time in a year and a half, just like it will in many other ECHL cities, it's going to be a wonderful day.
It'll be a special time, and our hope really is that, can we be back close to that 100% capacity? Because I think when that puck drops on November 6th, the Huntington Center is going to be rocking.
It's time for our regular highlight check. Here's the best of the week. Here's Aaron Luchak, one of the league's top scorers, showing why, with this deft redirection in a victory against the Stingrays. Liam Pecoraro of Greenville earns an assist here, showing some serious puck handling prior to his dish to teammate Frank DiChiara for a goal.
A goal on the backdoor on the power play! It's Frankie D on the board for Greenville.
Here's a strange one. We can tell you that Peter Quenville of Rapid City gets this one into the net. We can't tell you how. But it gave the Rush an OT victory against Kansas City. One more OT winner. This is Alan Spencer Osachuk with a nice redirection to give the Americans a Western Conference win over Wichita. And finally, newly acquired Fort Wayne goaltender Trevor Gorsuch makes a boo-boo handling the puck. But not to worry for the Comets. He gets back to the crease in time to make the save in this game at Wheeling. That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow us and like us on all of our social media channels. We appreciate that. Keep up to date on everything that's going on throughout the ECHL. Some other good stuff on there too. See you next time. Take care.